Real guest.
Can you tell us what you do?
I'm a student at Vancouver Film School studying makeup for film and television.
Yeah. So you just did her makeup today. Can you tell us about how you did that?
So today I started with just prepping her hair for the bald cap, gluing down the bald cap, which I constructed about a week ago back at school. And then once I had everything glued down, I blended off the edges with some latex. Then I did a base coat of white Paradise paint, and then some airbrush colors and textures.
That's awesome. What other kind of stuff do you do with makeup?
Well, at school we do a lot of out-of-kit effects like gelatin, prosthetics. We do cuts, burns, scars, bruises, all those kind of things, as well as just your practical beauty makeups, wedding makeup, like all that kind of stuff.
So what led you into loving makeup so much and wanting to do this?
Well, originally I wanted to be a fashion designer until I realized I hated sewing a lot. I hated it a lot. And so back in high school, I took a pottery class. And so I figured out that I really liked sculpting. And I'd already enjoyed like makeup and painting. I had done like acrylic painting for years. And then I also took a video production class. And then one day when the show Face Off came out, I realized that all of those things that I like could be combined into one thing. And so my mom found my school online. I went and did a week-long intensive, and after that I fell in love with the school, and now I go there.
Nice, that's awesome. So you mentioned that you loved pottery. Does that have anything to do with the bald cap you sculpted? And how do you do that?
Well, we don't actually sculpt for the bald cap. Making bald caps requires just like a plastic, kind of like a wig form kind of thing. It's just a red it's called a red head. And yeah. And basically all we do is we just stipple layers and layers of latex, and then we powder it and pull it off of the form, and then you have a bald cap that you can apply.
Yeah. So it kind of like extends her head and all that?
Yeah, all of the in here is all her hair, and then I stuffed it with usually we use cotton, but I didn't have any, so I used tissues.
That's awesome. So you do painting and airbrush for this, and how many like classes did you take to?
I think we only did 3 days of airbrushing. They teach us how to our teacher always says makeup artists should know their airbrush like a Marine knows their gun. So we had to take them apart and put them back together, take it apart, put it back together, make sure we knew exactly what we were doing. And then after that we got to practice on paper, spraying different thicknesses of lines and things like that. And then we got to do the spatter textures and those kinds of things. And I don't remember when we started doing it actually on each other with pore textures and freckles.
That's awesome. So Ashley, does it irritate your eyes at all to have an airbrush gun spraying at you?
No, she's pretty good about it. They learn the proper techniques on how to not really scare the person so they don't flinch, and how to be very sanitary with all the makeup and the tools and all of that. So I mean, it didn't really bug me very much.
Yeah. Anna, have you ever encountered some scary situations with allergies and irritated skin on anyone you've done makeup on?
Not anyone that I've personally done makeup on. There was a girl in my class that found out the hard way she was allergic to spirit gum.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't come off very well, does it?
No.
Well, that must have been a rough day. So, what other kind of stuff do you do at school? Can you describe it to us? All the lessons you go through?
Well, right now I'm heading into terms 5 and 6, which are the final 2 terms, and we're moving to our Franklin campus, which is just a couple blocks down from where I'm at now. And there is where we start doing our the big makeups, like what you see on Face Off, where we do foam latex. We learn how to make ventilated lace mustaches and beards, and I think eyebrows too. And I also have to make a prop head, like a bust of a character that I've yet to decide on. But yeah, we do a lot of sculpting and mold making and stuff in this term. Yeah.
Yeah. So you started off doing like prom and homecoming makeup, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah. So like, where did you get that idea?
To do special effects.
Or to start off with prom makeup and then build your way up?
I don't know. I just really enjoyed doing beauty makeup. I did it on myself and I practiced on her a lot. And some of my friends were just like, "Oh, can you do my makeup for homecoming? Can you do mine for prom?" And then I was like, "Oh, maybe I should make a job out of this."
Yeah, it's definitely awesome that you get to really do what you love and you've pursued this. So, what is like your absolute favorite thing you've done so far from like sculpting and textures and all that kind of stuff? What is your absolute favorite?
Well, just recently we had to do, for my term 4 final, I had to do a Mission Impossible disguise makeup. So we had to make gelatin prosthetics to disguise our partner to make them look like a completely different person. My partner, her name is Emily. She's a blonde Swedish girl, and I turned her into a kind of like a hipster guy with like all sorts of tattoos and piercings all over his face and that kind of stuff. So that was really fun.
Oh yeah, I believe I saw pictures of that. That's awesome. So, how do you go about disguising them? Because it can't just be like the wigs and the beard and stuff like that. That has to do with like reshaping it.
Yeah, so what we start with is we do a cast of the person's face. We do that using alginate, which is kind of like the same stuff when you go to the dentist's office and get an impression of your teeth. We just put that all over their face and then plaster bandages to hold it there. We make sure their nose is still clear so they can breathe. But you're in there for maybe about 10 minutes, and then you pull it out, and then they fill that with plaster. And then that creates the bust of the person's face that you sculpt on. And then you sculpt on that. And then you pour more plaster over the top of it, and then you pull it apart, take out the clay, and then after that you mix gelatin and pour it into the mold and put them together and let it cure for about 30 minutes and pull it apart, and you have your gelatin pieces.
That's awesome. So I know for a fact that I really don't like getting teeth impressions at the dentist or the orthodontist. That was my least favorite part. So is it really uncomfortable to have that on? Because people have practiced on you before.
Yeah, it's actually not as uncomfortable as I thought it would be. I thought it would be like really claustrophobic and hard to breathe and that kind of thing. But it really wasn't bad. We did it in groups of 4, I believe. So there was 2 people in charge of putting the alginate and the Band-Aids on the face. And then there was another person whose sole job was to watch their nostrils to make sure that they were clear and that they could breathe the whole time. So it wasn't really that bad.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to head to our first break. We're going to watch Weird Kid. All right, breathe.
What's up, man?
What's up, Seth? Have you met the new kid?
What new kid?
What's up, new?
Hey, I'm Cheyenne.
Are you okay?
Never better.
That's just so weird. Go.
Can I wash my hands? That new kid's so weird. You ever see her?
Go. Yeah, I saw her drinking a puddle earlier.
The heck?
Hi, guys. How are you guys doing today?
You're so weird. Get out of here.
You will regret this.
Have you guys seen Max?
Oh, Max, I think he went that way with the new girl a little bit ago.
Oh, okay. What'd you do to Max?
Max got what he deserved.
What?
All right, we're back with our alien and our makeup artist. So we're going to keep talking about this and about how she creates all these different people and looks. So you said that you do airbrush, and that has to do with a lot of painting. So so there's a lot of constructing the first mold, and then you have to paint over it. Is there a kind of in-between stage of like molding and then painting?
Other than applying, not really. You can't really paint until they're on their face, so I guess that's kind of the in-between stage. But mimicking skin textures is pretty difficult to make it look like a real person's skin. Gelatin prosthetics are pretty good though, because they're more flexible, so they move with the actor's face, and also gelatin is more transparent, so then you can see the person's actual skin underneath, and then you just have to layer some more textures underneath to make it look more like a person's face.
Yeah. So like you can't kind of like get all like the pores and like imperfections and textures.
Yeah.
So what's the craziest thing you've ever done makeup wise?
Craziest thing? I'm not sure. I guess the craziest thing would probably be my term 3 final, was which I had to create an alien similar to this one, but we had to sculpt ears and ears and a nose out of wax, which is very difficult. It's not very often used in film, but we had to do it for our final, so that was interesting.
Yeah. So where do you plan to go after this?
Basically wherever life takes me. My sort of backup plan for right now is to move to Portland, Oregon, because I do film a lot of different shows there, and there are a couple of effects shops that I'd like to go check out down there. So
Yeah. So your backup plan is the effects shop, but what would be like the ideal job for you?
my ideal job would be to join the union as soon as I possibly can and start working on set.
Yeah, that's awesome. So besides like your like alien, like what other crazy things have you done? Like it's obviously like a very interesting thing. Like, can you just tell us about all the awesome stuff that you do with it?
Let's see. So I think it was term 3, I believe. We did Vulcan makeups. So we blocked out half the eyebrow and then laid new hair so that the eyebrows were kind of crazy. And then we did the pointy ears. Before that, we did just a lot of like cuts and bruises and burns and just all of the out of kit effects, which is like things that don't require big prosthetics. They're things that you can just do right there on the spot with all the things in your kit.
Yeah. So it sounds like a lot of fun, but is it also very stressful and intense to be doing that kind of stuff every day?
Definitely. I think the most stressful part is time, because you have to be very good at time management. You only get a certain amount of time to apply a makeup, and you know, if you're not finished, then you lose your grade on that thing.
Oh, that's terrible.
Or a job if you're on set.
Yeah, or a job on set.
Oh, geez, that's terrible. So how do you handle your time management?
Well, I keep a watch. I have a watch that I wear, so that while I'm doing the makeup, I can look down and make sure I'm right on time.
Yeah, definitely. So we've talked about your background with like makeup and stuff like that and how you began, but what really who's your inspiration? Like, who would you love to be like?
My inspiration. I guess, I know it's kind of cliche, but I really like V. Neal. She's, if you haven't watched Face Off, she's one of the hosts there, and she's been doing a lot of movies lately and in the past. For our class, we actually had to do reports on famous makeup artists, and V. Neal, I guess, she got her start when she just was at a convention and she just walked up to a guy and said, "Hey, can you teach me how to do this?" And he goes, "Why do you want to do this? You're a girl." And so she was like, yeah, exactly, I want to do this. Because it's a very male-dominated industry right now. So I think she's just kind of more my inspiration.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome to do that. So you mentioned the show Face Off a few times. Do you ever feel like when you're like having like all that time management stuff going on and you're with your classmates, do you ever feel like you're kind of in a
Like I'm on
reality
Face Off?
you're on like a reality TV show?
Sometimes, yeah. Actually, I think several of the competitors on Face Off actually went to my school. Darla Eden, she won season 10. She went to my school as well.
So I asked about your inspiration, but what person would you compare your makeup style to the most?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I don't really know if I have developed my style quite yet because, I'm still learning. I'm still in school. I'm still trying to like decide who I am. So I don't really know if I have a makeup style quite yet.
Yeah. So do you have any idea about that?
Not really.
Not really. So on the topic of your like idols and favorites, so what movie do you really love the makeup and special effects in?
I just watched a movie the other day. I don't remember what it was. I think it was actually The Fifth Element. There's a poster over there. But yeah, I had to do a report on Nick Dedman. He was a makeup artist. He did makeup for all the Harry Potter movies. And he did a lot of really great work in that movie, and I love it.
Yeah, sometime you have to turn me into a goblin, like from Harry Potter.
I will.
Yeah. So do you ever just like look at movies and you kind of admire it all the time?
Yeah, both the good and the bad. Sometimes it kind of has ruined movies for me now. Like, I'll watch a movie and I'm just, like, being on set makes you really, like, criticize movies very, like, a lot. And so every time I'm, like, watching a movie, I just picture, like, the actors having to, like, do the scene over and over again and, like, having to have the makeup artists come and touch up their things and making sure everything's continuity. I'm just trying to, like, imagine what it's like to be on set every time I watch a movie.
Yeah. All right, we're going to head to our next break, and we're going to watch Nervous Cheyenne. Welcome back to Charger Chat. So you were talking about being on set. So have you ever been on set or had any film shoots?
Well, the very first set that I was on, I was actually an extra on the TV show The Librarians. That was a lot of fun. It was kind of cool to like see what an actual movie set looks like. And that was on in Portland, which is another reason why I want to move down there. And then for school, we do student film shoots. So, like my school isn't only makeup, it's video production, sound design, makeup design, acting, writing, it's the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And so, during terms 3 and 4, we get to work with the writing, film production, and sound design class. And the writing class writes the scripts, the film production class gets all the shots together, and then the makeup class goes and works on set with them to do their shows. So yeah, I've done 2 shows on my school set.
Yeah. And we have a pretty similar system here at ISC where we have writing for publication, write a script, and then we film it in a Video 3 class. So it's definitely very similar where we bring everything together into one. So how difficult was it for you to get into this school?
For me, it wasn't that difficult. I did a week-long intensive at the school, which they offer in the summertime. You can go in for a week, and basically they just treat it like you're at school for a week. So you go in to your morning classes, and you go to lunch, and then your evening classes. So that was a lot of fun. That's kind of what made me decide that I wanted to go there. And so that was when I decided. So then I think right after I got home from that, I went and applied. And to apply, you have to write a page-long letter of intent, submit a resume, and a portfolio. I think it has to be like a minimum of 5 photos of your work.
So what photos did you submit of?
There were some of my like very first, very crude special effects makeups, and I think I did. One of them was I painted a skull on my friend's face, and then another one was just like cuts and bruises, and then some beauty makeup.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned time management and all that. So how much does like every type of look take? Like obviously it's going to take a while to make an alien as opposed to a beauty look. So what's kind of the time for that?
So for our term 1 final, I believe we got an hour to do just a beauty makeup, which first we did a natural no makeup look, which takes maybe 30 minutes. And then we get an additional 30 minutes to turn it into like a glamour makeup, which is like a smoky eye and colored lip. That takes about an hour. And then for my term 2 final, we did out-of-kit effects. So the one that I was assigned was a car accident victim. So they gave us kind of like a script and said, this is what happened to your character, and you have to like break down what things you need to put on them. So my boyfriend came and modeled for me, so I gave him a black eye, a bruise on his face, a cut on his forehead, scrapes on his hands, and dirt.
Yeah.
And that took, oh gosh, I believe we got 2 hours for that. And then term 3 we did similar to this, the alien. We got 3 hours for this. Today I only did it in 1 hour and 45 minutes, which is like my record. And then for our disguise makeup, we got 4 hours with an additional 5th hour if we needed it.
Oh,
So they just get longer and longer the more complex they are.
yeah, that's a lot of time. So do you know on set for things like that, how fast you have to move?
Very fast. When we were on set for student films, it was difficult because the film production students didn't know like exactly how much time that we would need, so we had to meet with them and tell them, like they gave us a tentative call sheet, and on that it would say like you get 45 minutes to do 4 people's makeup.
Yeah.
And there's only 3 of us, and we're like, can we have a little bit more time?
Yeah.
But yeah, on actual film sets, they're pretty good about giving you the time that you need, but with student films, it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, there's definitely communication, and melding the different talents
definitely.
together is very much key. So with like smaller things like, you know, doing your student films, it can sometimes get lost and forgotten about with everyone doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So I bet you're excited to do the real deal where everyone's communicating and understanding each other.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you could be on the set of any movie, like Back in Time or like a movie that's coming out, and like work on the makeup for that, what movie would you pick?
I really enjoyed the movie iRobot. That's like one of my favorite movies. I don't know why, but I've always enjoyed like the futuristic kind of themed movies. One of my teachers, the head of our department, he actually was on set. He did the makeup for that movie, so that was pretty cool to hear all his stories about So I'm like, oh, I wish I was there. I wish I could be on set with him.
Oh, I've never seen that movie, so what kind of special effects was put into that?
There's actually not a lot of special effects makeup. There were just like, you know, the basic cuts and bruises and stuff, but it has a lot of animated, like, visual effects.
Yeah.
Like the robots and those kinds of things.
So your teacher just did the kind of like the normal makeup and cuts and bruises?
Yeah, I believe he was key makeup, either key makeup or first assistant.
Yeah, so do you have a lot of cool stories from your teachers and stuff like that? Because,
Yeah.
Because, you know, like working in the film industry.
Yeah, my teachers tell us like really crazy stories. A lot of time they're not allowed to tell us like the actor's name, but they'll tell us about like, oh, this person was horrible. They would come in smelling like alcohol every day, but you know, they couldn't tell us who the actor was because they signed contracts saying that they can't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So how is it working with other students and stuff like that? Like, do you get along with them, or are there a lot of issues?
I feel like our class gets along pretty well. We all kind of have the same sort of interests because, I mean, obviously we're all we're going into the same field, the same business. So I feel like we all get along pretty well. I mean, occasionally there'll be little areas where you butt heads, but
Yeah.
it's really not that bad.
Yeah, because like having to be around all these people and have them putting makeup on your face all the time, that could get a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, you want to be close with them. You don't want to have to get in a fight with somebody who's going to be putting a bald cap and cutting near your face. So
Yeah, you don't want scissors near your face with somebody you don't like.
yeah, exactly.
So where do you see yourself like with these people? Like, are you very close friends with them, or do you see like you like never seeing them again afterwards?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of my friends at school are from overseas or from Canada. There's a couple of, I think there's only 2 girls in my class that are from the United States. One's from Virginia and one's from California. But hopefully I end up seeing them again. I've gotten to know them all pretty well, and I feel like we're all pretty close.
How much money does it cost to like go to a school like this?
Oh gosh, I don't know exactly how much.
It was a little bit, it was kind of difficult because of the currency exchange.
Yes, there was
Oh,
a currency exchange. So I think it was 50,000 Canadian for a full year program. But you know, because of the exchange rate, we've definitely paid a lot less.
Yeah. So on the other hand, how much would someone make, like, as opposed to like, you know, a small film and a big film? How much would you make doing this?
I don't know exactly the pay rates. One of my teachers told me that a special effects makeup artist can make up to, I think, $45 an hour.
Yeah.
So it is pretty good money. But the only downside is if you're doing set work, you only have a job for the period of time that they're filming. So you may be getting paid $45 an hour, but only for 6 months, and then after that you have to go find another job. So it's not really a regular job that you can just stick with. You have to constantly be looking for work.
All right. So are there any final things that you would like to say about your school, about what you do?
I don't think so. I just want to say that anybody that wants to get into film and makeup for film, definitely VFS is the place to go. I love that school. It's the best decision I've ever made in my entire life.
And if you want to see more makeups like this, she has a few social media accounts that you can go follow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you for coming in with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.